Coming at you from the Hey Yo Studios. It's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Coming at you live from the AO studio.
Hey yo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z. I am D. We got a great show for you tonight. A few teams get embarrassed on Sunday. Justin Jefferson goes on IR. And the and the Braves are up against the ropes right now, getting pummeled 10-2 by the Phillies. So we begin today's show with the NHL season has started. That's right, the NHL is back. The nice futures versus past game when the Penguins facing off against the Blackhawks last night. The Lightning beat the Preds, and the defending champs opened up against the Kraken, which the beginning ceremony was fantastic in Vegas for anybody who tuned in. Z, what are some storylines you're going to be following early on in the season, and who do you expect to see in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Well, you have plenty of storylines. You have Connor Bedard, who's supposed to be the wonderkid, who's supposed to be the last can't-miss prospect, right? The last time we heard can't miss was Lafreniere. Not great. Before him was Jack Hughes. Seems to have hit on that. So who's he going to be? And is Chicago going to use Connor Bedard and feature him the way the Devils have featured Jack Hughes? Or are they going to kind of slip him in the bottom tier of the lines like the Rangers have done with both Capo Caco and Alexis Lafreniere? Or is he going to get completely buried like a guy like Owen Power? You know, he's stuck up in Buffalo, which is the equivalent of Siberia in America. I'm looking to see how Connor Bedard adjusts to the NHL. I'm interested to see how Adam Fantilli adjusts to the NHL for the Columbus Blue Jackets. You know, two 19-year-old studs. Well, actually, Bedard, I believe, is 18, which is even better. Even younger. Wonderful. So the NHL is getting an injection of talented youth hockey. They absolutely are getting an influx of talented players, right? Now, what are we going to see? What are we going to see at the end? Vegas has installed not the Golden Knights, but the Carolina Hurricanes as the favorite. Yeah, which I find interesting.
Great defense.
Very good defense.
Good goalkeeping. No?
Not enough scoring.
Yeah, I agree.
Still not enough offense.
Mm-hmm.
Still not enough offense in Carolina. They remind me of the mid-teen Rangers, right? Under Torts. Defensive heavy, had enough to beat you, but by the time they got to the finals, they were just beaten up and dead. Like, there was nothing left. It was very easy for the LA Kings to kind of pick the Rangers apart because they were being held together by gum and duct tape. So the Hurricanes play a good style of hockey, solid style of hockey, one that is a winner in the regular season. Does it translate to playoffs? They haven't gotten over the hump yet. What are the Bruins without Bergeron? I don't know. Brad Marchand is taking over the captaincy. Are they going to be able to continue on? They're talented, but are they going to be missing a guy like Patrice Bergeron? I think so. Like, you don't replace a guy like him. You firmly expect the Avalanche to be there. You firmly expect the Golden Knights to be there. You firmly expect the Kraken to be there. And in the true nature of sensationalism, we're going to be focused on, the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs, as we are all the friggin' time. Is this the year? Is this the year that Connor McDavid ascends? Spoiler alert. No. Is this the year that the Maple Leafs make it back? Spoiler alert. No. I'm sick and tired of talking about them, and yet, in the same way we talk about the Dallas Cowboys over and over and over again, we're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're overstated, they're overrated, but they're still going to be discussed. The Lightning announced their presence with authority. I firmly expect them to be in the mix. I expect the Rangers to be in the mix, even though, there was an embarrassing and gut-wrenching end to the season last year. They brought in a new coach. Let's see what Peter Laviolette can do. Right? Peter Laviolette has a good track record of turning organizations around. He doesn't have to turn the Rangers around that far. Gallant had them in the playoffs multiple times. So Peter Laviolette could possibly be the guy to get them over the top. As far as a Stanley Cup prediction, it's too early, but I'm a Ranger fan. I want my team there. They're not that far off. They haven't been that far off for years. This would be the year to take the leap because there aren't many teams. Same thing for the Devils. The Devils can absolutely take the leap. You have two Hughes brothers, 2 out of the 3. That's not bad. They're young, they're fast, they're hungry. The Devils can easily make a run in the Eastern Conference. The Penguins went and got Erik Karlsson. They're loading up for one more run with the band. They can be in it. They're loading up for one more time. The Panthers can make it back. The Panthers were in the Stanley Cup final last year, albeit they were a Matthew Tkachuk-led team. It was pretty much Matthew Tkachuk and everybody else. But if they can get performances out of everybody, suddenly the Panthers, are looking good. So obviously I'm going to take the Rangers because I'm a Ranger fan. That's what we do. That's what I do. I live in hope and I die in despair. It's what I do. So against the Rangers in the Stanley Cup Finals, I gotta say, the Western Conference is loaded, right? Because you're probably going to have a top 4 of Vegas, Colorado, Dallas is good, Seattle is good. There are a lot of teams out
Edmonton.
there. Edmonton is good, right? There's plenty of teams there. And pretty much anybody not named the San Jose Sharks. But I think it's going to end up being Avs Rangers. Rangers in 7. What say you?
Avs Rangers. Wow. Rangers in 7. Well, let's start off with this. Hats off to the NHL for pitting Connor Bedard against Sidney Crosby on opening night. It was one of the largest rated NHL opening nights in history. Well done. Well done. It's the NHL. It's fun. The players are fun. It's a good product. I'm interested in watching a lot of teams, honestly. I think the Winnipeg Jets have the best roster. I really do. I'm just not sure it's enough to propel them once they get to the playoffs, as weird as that sounds. I think the Avalanche are going to look to redeem themselves. I think they have the best defense in the Western Conference. There's no reason not to believe in them. Kraken, only weakness is the goalie. I think they're very talented, and they were a fun team to watch. NHL treats their expansion teams very well. Knights are going to compete all the way to the end. I just think they're going to play it differently this year. I think they understand what it takes to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, and they don't necessarily need to, compete at a high level for 82 games. I think they understand that, once you get around game 50 or game 60, let's get everybody healthy and let's make a run. So I think they could be a very dangerous team towards the end of the season. The Kings have a lot of firepower. I think the Kings are not going to be someone that could be trifled with. But, it's hard for me to not believe in the Edmonton Oilers. Goaltending is still a concern, but I have them winning the division. I do think they're the best team. Now, when we head east, I mean, the Islanders' defense and goaltending is elite. I just worry about their scoring. I don't think they don't do well on the power play, and I don't believe in their scorers. I'm interested to see how the Bruins have a new captain, right?
Brad Marchand.
Marchand's their captain. I'm interested to see how he takes on the captaincy. Is he going to be like Chara, or is he going to continue his ways where he licks people and is an irritant? Will he understand what it means to wear the C in Boston? That's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's history. Now, listen, I'm a Rangers fan too. But I'm not a homer. Like, I could be real about certain situations. I'm just not sure if the kid line of players for the Rangers is going to play well. I don't think they're going to play well together. That's my concern. And yeah, Lavallette's a good coach, but I don't know if he's ready for this. I don't know if they can do better than them finishing 4th or 5th, right? Sherskin's definitely the best goaltender in the league. There's only so much he can do. And he's got to stay healthy and stay behind the pipes. I don't believe in the Penguins. We talked about this for the last 2 years. As soon as they re-signed Malkin, Crosby, and Letang, I was like, it's over, guys. It's over, man. It's cute that you want to get the band back together. You want to make one more run. It's just not in you. You don't got it, man. This has been going on for too long now. They missed the playoffs last year, right? They missed the playoffs last year, didn't they? Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that coming around. No way. And how could you not love the Devils? I mean, we could say we hate the Devils because of where we live, but young, fast, talented, they might have the best forward group in the NHL. No jokes aside. Dynasty in the making. It's the way I would describe the Devils right now. And then, like we talked about, Hurricanes, I think, are the best defense in the NHL, but we both agreed. I don't know about scoring. So, yeah, for me, I got Edmonton and the Devils in the Stanley Cup Finals. Way too early predictions, but just based on talent, it's scorching red hot for those two teams.
Here's the thing. Talent only gets you so far.
Yeah.
You need to be able to survive. It's a war of attrition in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're going to get beaten down like you've never been beaten down before. And I don't know. I don't think that those two teams can stand there at the end. I just think that eventually, when push comes to shove, and you have to play physical playoff hockey, you're going to get worn down and you're going to get worn out. And that's what happened last year, and that's what happened repeatedly. And expectation, right? The Devils don't have as near of an expectation on them as the Edmonton Oilers, or specifically Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid has the expectation, he has the ghost, he has the shadow of Wayne Gretzky, right? He's supposed to be that guy. He's supposed to be that good. At this point in his career, Gretzky had multiple cups. And I don't want to hear that he didn't have that, Connor McDavid doesn't have the guys around him the way that Messier and Graves and Yari Curry. I don't want to hear that because Edmonton's pretty talented. You said it. Edmonton is very talented. At some point, the leader needs to be the leader and step up. And it doesn't happen. At some point, you need to come to the realization that it's not going to happen. It's kind of like Austin Matthews in Toronto. He may not be that guy. And he has guys around him too. He's got Nylander, he's got Marner, he's got players, right? The ownership keeps investing. And every year is different. Every year is the different roster. Every year is the same result, right? The other guys get moved around. It's still that core, same result. You look at a team like the Avalanche, they're You have Landeskog, you have McKinnon, you have skill, and you have grit. You need both. You can't win firmly on skill, and you can't beat your way to a cup final. You can't solely beat your way to a cup final. You need to have a mixture of brute force and skill. Step outside of your safe area and make a statement without saying much with FCK Clout Lifestyle Apparel. Embrace the colorful chaos and stay emotionally regulated in their hoodies, snapbacks, graphic tees, accessories, and more. Season 3 merch is up now. Get it while you can. Go to fckclout.com and get all of your needs from men and women. That's fckclout.com. But speaking of brute force, the Rangers, not those Rangers, the Texas Rangers, showed the muscle. They flexed their muscle against the O's, erasing the Birds in 3 games. And now they await the winner of the Houston Astros and Minnesota Twins. Baltimore just could not get anything going against the Rangers. Offensively and defensively and pitching-wise, the O's just did not match up. Did they arrive a little bit too early, or will the O's beat back?
No, I think they have a bright future. I think who's it? Matt Holliday's son, right? He's their top prospect, right?
Yep.
And he's going to be playing shortstop. I think his name is Jack Holliday. He's going to be playing shortstop for them next year, most likely. And then they got to go out. Listen, they got to go out there and spend money, right? I mean, look at what the Rangers did. I mean, if you look in their dugout at the pitchers that should be pitching or could be pitching, I mean, you have Eovaldi, you have DeGrom, you've got Scherzer, you've got Jordan Montgomery. I mean, geez, like that, they went out and bought those guys, right? Well, they were traded for them and they're paying for them. Marcus Semien paid for that guy. Corey Seager, they paid for that. So Baltimore has already their young prospects up, and their stud in Aaron Hicks.
Oh, God.
So now, this offseason, they got to go out and spend some money. Go buy some pitchers. Buy an elite starting pitcher, get a nice middle reliever, and get a nice closer. I think that's the next step. I mean, they had the number 1 prospects. They had the number 1 farm system in baseball the last 3 years. And now all those guys are coming up. They play in a really competitive division, right? Because the Yankees are going to be back. Boston's going to be back. You're going to have to retool. But I just think this is the start. I have high hopes for Baltimore. But you can tell, in this series, what they didn't have is they didn't have a veteran presence. They didn't have someone there to calm them down. Like, yo, it's cool, man. It's cool. Like, we got this. We're all right. Like, don't worry about it. Like, they didn't have that calming presence to get them through a postseason. And, now some of those guys have gone through it. And next year it should be better.
Well, look at the difference between the Diamondbacks and the Orioles. Who's a steadying veteran presence on the Arizona Diamondbacks who's been to a World Series? Evan Longoria.
That guy.
Man, it makes a difference.
Sure does.
Having a veteran on this team and not Aaron Hicks. Your veteran is Aaron Hicks. I swear to you, I was watching the game last night. Aroldis Chapman was on the mound.
Love it.
Brandon Hyde pinch hit Aaron Hicks, and Chapman was out of the game. They brought in Jose Leclerc, and I'm like, wait, what? You're so afraid of Aaron Hicks is that you're taking out Aroldis Chapman? Like, this is a Trey Lance situation. It's it was absurd to me. There's so many ex-Yankees going around. Sonny Gray got torched the other day too. We'll talk about that later. But you're right. There are quite a few veterans on this team, but none that have the necessary playoff experience. You have Adam Frazier, you have Anthony Santander, you have Mountcastle, you have Cedric Mullins. They're veterans, but they've been veterans in Baltimore when they've sucked. right? It's not like Adam Jones is there. It's not like Chris Davis was there. That mentorship did not happen because they gutted the team. Nick Markakis isn't there. Like, Nick Markakis was a good veteran steadying force on the Orioles for years, and he's not there. Now, Jordan Westburg, he's going to be good, right? Rushman, we know how good Rushman is. Gunnar Henderson's probably going to win Rookie of the Year. They got studs. They have studs offensively. Tyler Wells pitched well out of the bullpen last night. Dean Kramer got torched. And all fairness to him, he is Israeli. He has family in Israel. His head was not there. He said he wanted to pitch. His head was not in the game. I can only imagine that his head was not in this game. 1 2/3, 6 runs, 7 hits. 2 bombs. So that one you kind of have to wash, you know? You kind of have to wash that one. But losing Bautista didn't help because you lost a stud closer. Kid was a rookie, established himself very well as a closer. I mean, Yennier Cano filled in admirably. DL Hall is there. Again, kids. Kyle Gibson came out of the bullpen and gave you length. This is the same Kyle Gibson that Texas got rid of. So they definitely need to kind of add some veteran presence to this team. You're absolutely right. But the AL East in general did not have a good showing. 0-7. They got swept the fuck out. You got 3 teams and nobody won a game. Not a game. Not one. So maybe, just maybe, the AL East was overrated by us, was overrated by Major League Baseball, was overrated by all the pundits. Now, kudos to the Rangers. They did what they needed to do. I'm not sure what's going to come up. You know, that they are beating up on inferior pitching. But if you draw the Astros in the next round, all of a sudden, that is no longer the case. Right? You're drawing Christian Javier. You're drawing Justin Verlander. You're drawing, studs. You're drawing a worthy adversary in the Houston Astros. Now, albeit their cheating ways aside, right? That's something that is going to be interesting. The Astros they feel like they're getting towards the end of their rope. They definitely feel like they're starting to get towards the end of it, right? You're starting to see guys go. You saw Springer go. You saw Correa go. Jeremy Payne did not have the season this year that he did last year. What do you do with Bregman? What does he become? Like, does he stay? Justin Verlander, he's not long term. He's not there for the long haul. He can't be. So that window might be closing. Texas has enough of a mix that they could be around for a while. Now, what do? Right? You said they brought in all these guys. They brought in DeGrom, they brought in John Gray, they brought in Jordan Montgomery, they brought in Max Scherzer. That's fine. Like, that's fine for now. Like, how do you keep them is the question. Do you keep them is the question. I mean, DeGrom is there regardless. Do you bring back Monty? Or does Monty end up going to a team like Baltimore, who could pay him, right? The Baltimore is gonna need pitching. If Shohei Ohtani wanted to win a division, I would argue that he should come east and go to Baltimore. It's not a sexy market. It's not a big market, but it's one that's going to love him. It's one that's focused on winning. And could you imagine Ohtani in Camden Yards and his primary ballpark? Because remember, next year he's not pitching. Next year he's going to be hitting, right? and only hitting. Mm-hmm. It's a launching pad, absolute launching pad. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen there. But the Orioles will be back. I am not concerned at all that the Orioles peak too soon. They are way too talented, and the cream will rise to the top yet again. Speaking of the cream rising to the top yet again, of the top seeds, right? Of the top seeds, the Braves managed to win a game. Over for the Dodgers, over for the Orioles. The Braves took one from the Phillies, and that didn't help matters because they're still on the ropes. They just got bludgeoned again. They were down 4-0 heading into late innings, and Acuna, d'Arnaud, and Riley rallied late, even the series at one game apiece, and that Michael Harris catch, doubling off Bryce Harper. Where the hell Bryce Harper was going, I don't know, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, the Phillies just knocked off the Braves, taking a 2-1 lead. Are they firmly in the driver's seat? And is this the series that's going to produce your National League champion?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think the winner of this series will eventually represent the National League in the World Series. And yeah, I do think the Phillies are in the driver's seat, man. Like, they just banged the ball, and just the way this whole playoff was set up was just stupid. I'm not complaining because it's fine. I mean, listen, they're the team that the Braves had to beat them. Regardless, you beat whoever is in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no excuses coming from my side. It's just stupid. It's just like I'd rather have seen a 7-game series between these two teams than a 5-game series. You know, the problem is they gotta face Wheeler, man. Like, if they get to Game 5, they gotta face Wheeler. That's the problem I have. And they just haven't really. The Braves only scored 2 runs tonight. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? We broke all these records during the regular season for runs and home runs, and all of a sudden we forgot how to score. But this comes to you're facing a division opponent. They know you in and out, and then you're giving them fuel for the fire. The whole attaboy Harper, all that other bullshit. Like, you guys can't do that. You know, this is a 5-game series. You can't be messing around. So they're going to have to go in, and they're going to have to do the bludgeoning next game. They're going to have to try to put up 10 runs, 13 runs. That's the only way you're going to be safe. I mean, come on. The Phillies leadoff hitter hit 47 home runs this year.
And hit below 200.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed by that.
I am. That's freaking crazy. A leadoff hitter hitting 47 bombs.
And hitting below 200.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
more walks than hits.
It's working. It's fucking working.
Insane. You have a leadoff hitter in Trey Turner. Why are you not using him in the leadoff spot?
Clearly they don't have to, and all of a sudden this guy remembers how to play again.
All it took was that standing ovation. Like, they gave him a standing ovation. When did Philly start wrapping their arms around people? Like, well, when did this happen?
Well, Schwarber didn't do anything tonight, so.
Ah.
But Trey Turner did.
But I do want to get to that Michael Harris catch. Like, oh my God, people are tripping all over themselves to anoint this catch, my man.
I saw it live.
Yeah, like, Wilbon invoked Willie Mays, and I turned off PTI. That was not Willie Mays level.
They like going over the top on everything. Everything is, it's the best and it's the greatest, and that was impressive.
Number 1, he didn't have to jump. Number 2, he crashed into the fence. Number 3, yes, he hit the right cutoff man. And number 4, where the fuck was Bryce Harper going? The terrible base running.
I was actually very impressed with him catching the ball against the wall and having the wherewithal to get the ball back into the infield after that impact. Yeah, that was pretty impressive to me.
Why the hell are stadiums still employing chain link fence? What did they not learn from Bobby Valentine ripping his leg apart? Like, you go through it, you're done. But it was an impressive catch. It was a good catch. Is it Willie Mays and Vic Wirtz? No, absolutely not. You guys are insane. You guys are insane if you are making that comparison. I'm sorry. It was a good catch.
Yeah.
It was an absolute good catch. It was not the greatest catch I've ever seen. But greatest catch I've ever seen, Jim Edmonds when he made that diving catch.
Yeah, I was about to say Jim Edmonds probably the best one I ever seen too. It was impressive though. Like I do think it was impressive. I wasn't expecting it, and like I said, I was more impressed with him getting the ball back into the infield. Then Albies misses the ball, but Riles is backing him up and scoops it and throws a fucking laser to Olsen to end the game.
Yep.
So, and I understand what you're saying about where Bryce was going, but Bryce is trying to be aggressive and score. He's thinking it's going to hit against the wall. His gut was it was going to either hit against the wall or go over the wall. So I don't think he didn't think he was in too much trouble by standing where he was going to stand, because again, it was going to be tough for that guy to make the catch against the wall and then get the ball back in to double him up. And it almost didn't work because Albies missed the ball. It was only because Riles was backing him up that they actually got Harper, and it was close. It wasn't even like it was close. So,
but it was unnecessary. It was absolutely unnecessary. You play halfway there. It's the ninth inning.
Yeah.
You have no. What are you doing? You have to know the situation.
No, I hear you. But I'm not mad at the guy. I'm not mad. He didn't I don't think he cost him the game.
He was the last out.
He was the last out, but he didn't cost him the game. Come on.
You have to know the situation. You can't.
He almost got back.
Almost doesn't count. This is not horseshoes.
So what would you have done today? Benched him? Are you gonna go talk to him after the game?
Yeah. What the fuck are you thinking? Do you have eyes?
So Robbie Thompson should have patted him on the leg. Now, in that situation, do you tell him when he gets back to the dugout? Did you tell him this morning? Do you tell him after a shower? At what point, Z, are you going to tell him that you didn't appreciate the way he ran the bases?
In the moment.
So you wait for him. You wait for him in the dugout as he's coming off the field.
Mm-hmm. No, because you don't let it fester. You don't let reporters get to it. You deal with it now. Especially you don't wait for the shower. Like that's just weird.
So he comes off the field. And are you subtle about it, or you get right to the point?
What were you thinking? That's it. No need to be confrontational.
So no profanity.
No profanity. What were you thinking? Like you got, and then
if I'm Harper, if I'm coming off the field and you say, "What are you thinking?" I probably don't answer you. I don't answer you. I go right by you and into the dugout and get changed, and maybe on my way out, I'll be like, "My bad." I won't explain what I was thinking because I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to be aggressive.
Precisely. Your head was firmly in your ass, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He runs the bases with his head up his ass.
That's who he is. He's
an asshole.
He's an asshole.
But to go back to the question, I don't necessarily think that the Phillies are in the driver's seat. I hope you're right, man. I think this is going to be a punch-counter-punch situation.
God, I hope so.
And Game 5's a coin flip.
I think they knocked us out last year.
Sure did. That just if they might have your kryptonite. They just might have your number.
It's just a division game. It's not about kryptonite. You play a team enough, you know them. So we were 8-5 against them in the regular season. They just scooped 2 and we got 1. So now it's 10-7. I mean, it's close.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you expect it to be.
But I think this one is far from over. So the Braves did show signs of life. They didn't roll over like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Avoid messy accidents. Get better stopping power with your brake pads. Callahan brake pads. You never know when you'll be driving in the road and there will be a truck tire that you need to avoid and save your family. Callahan Auto. We really care about what's under your hood.
One team that's not showing much signs of life, the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in the league, pulled his hamstring on Sunday and will be sidelined the next 4 weeks. The Vikings are now 1-4, and they're about to hit the road without their best player. And Cousins is in the final year of his guaranteed contract, which I found out he got paid most of the money up front, so there's not much left on the contract. So Z, I feel like we talk about this every weekend, but has your story changed? I mean, what should the Vikings do with Kirk Jefferson in the 2023 season?
Well, excuse me. The season's washed at this point. If you're constantly going to be in a situation where you're turning the ball over, you got nothing. You have no leg to stand on. You absolutely cannot turn the ball over at the rate that the Minnesota Vikings are turning the ball over and expect good things. You cannot expect good results. You cannot expect good results when you don't have a decent running game. You just can't. The only reason why the Vikings are anywhere that they are is because of Kirk Cousins. He has close to 1,500 yards already. That's pretty darn good, right? Justin Jefferson has close to 600 yards already. He's got 571. Alexander Mattison is their leading rusher. He has 276 yards in the season.
Crushing it.
Breece Hall had about half that in the game against the Broncos. So you need balance. You absolutely need balance for success in this league. Even when you got to the Super Bowl last year, what did you notice? It was not throwing the ball all over the field. It was a balanced attack by both sides. Both sides at least attempted to run the ball. Kevin O'Connell, I don't think he wants to run the ball. That's not who he is. It's not who he is as a coach. You can't do that and expect to win. Because what's going to happen? Everybody's going to play the pass. And you don't have a running back to kind of keep them off of it. Because you got rid of Dalvin Cook. So you're kind of punting on the season at this point. Jefferson, don't rush him back. There's no point to rush him back. And you get a look. You're going to get a look at Jordan Addison. See what he is. See if he can be a top flight receiver. You thought highly enough of him to take him at 24 in the first round. See what you got. Come trade deadline, if you get blown away for Kirk Cousins, sure, why not?
20 days away, Halloween.
Yeah. So if you get blown away, I'm not saying you take a ham sandwich, but if you get a 4th round pick, an offer of a 4th round pick, you take that.
Well, he also has to approve of the trade. He's got a no trade clause.
Mm-hmm. Now, we have said multiple times that he's very comfortable in Minnesota.
Right.
Loves the area, invested in the community, built a house. Is he willing? What situation is good enough for him? Certainly not the Jets. He's not a New York guy. I can tell you right now, Kirk Cousins is not a New York guy. Like, it's just not in him. You can tell guys who are going to be successful in New York, he's not one of them. So where does that leave Kirk Cousins? What situation would benefit a guy like Kirk Cousins? Atlanta? If they don't believe in Desmond Ridder?
Yeah.
Maybe. But I don't know. I think you're just going to have to ride this out and just let the season wash and go from there, because I don't know if you're going to get more than a 5th round offer for Kirk Cousins. And I don't know. Like, you might be willing to take him, but you might be willing to take that, but I just don't think that's going to be the case.
And now, if you're Kurt, what do you want? Do you want to just keep playing for a team that's not going anywhere?
I'm very happy where I am, right? I need to be in a situation where I'm going to benefit from it. Now, what has Kirk Cousins done in this league, right? And what has he not done in this league? I am going to a team. If I'm Kirk Cousins, the only way I'm leaving my situation is if I am going to a team where I'm going to potentially be in the Super Bowl.
Should the Patriots look to get him?
Oh, dear God. So, I don't know if he would want that. Because the Patriots situation is dire. We're going to talk about them. Like, that's hideous. The Patriots are dire. I don't know if you flip, because you figure Mac Jones would go back in the trade, right? Or you just cut Mac Jones if you're the GM, yeah. So
no, you're gonna send Mac over there.
Yeah. So for a rental, because remember Cousins is a free agent. I don't know if Belichick will do that. I don't know if it benefits him because the Patriots are also 1-4, and they look like the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
So I think if you're Kirk Cousins, you just ride this out and just kind of see what happens in the offseason.
Excuse me. You said you feel that way if you were the Vikings as well. You're just going to ride this out with Kurt.
I think it's the way to go. I think it's the play at this point because I don't know what you're going to get for, 3 months of Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you might get a fifth that becomes a fourth. Maybe something. The people are going to try and play hardball with you. You have the asset, but you only have the asset for a few more months.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is like, I think you look around the league and you're like, well, even if Jefferson comes back, it's like we can't compete against the best teams in the league. Like, we can't compete against the 49ers. We can't compete against the Eagles. So I'd probably go to Kurt and see what he wants to do. Like, man, is there a team you want me to trade you to? Because, listen, Jefferson's going to be out for 4 weeks. I mean, if he's healthy and we're 1-8, he ain't playing. Like, it's a wrap. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay here? Is there a team you want us to call? And then, you know what? We always have the option to bring you back next year. Because, next year we'll be ready to play again. So it's not like it's this could be like a Chapman situation where you leave, but then you wind up coming back and playing well for us again. Yeah. So I just think that
one situation that I'm monitoring, I'm always monitoring the Niners, right? Because that train's never late. They're always managing to get their quarterback hurt.
Yeah, you're right. They've been surprisingly healthy this year. Really surprisingly.
I would hope against hope for two places, either the Niners or the Dolphins. But I don't want to wish ill on other people.
No.
But that train's never late. That injury train is never late for both teams.
No. But there were a few embarrassing games this weekend. The Patriots were blown out 34-0 at home by the Saints. The Bears blew out the Commies 40-20. And the Denver Broncos lost the Hackett Bowl. Oh, yeah, and the Giants gave up 7 sacks to the Dolphins and lost 31-16. So who had the most embarrassing weekend?
There is only one answer. It's the Patriots.
Yeah.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah.
It's sad at this point. And I was talking to my fiance about it, and she's she follows the Jets. Her coworkers follow the Jets. They've been talking about it, just like, can you kind of take your foot off the gas pedal in terms of hatred of the Patriots now? Can you do that? Because the mighty have fallen so far, and to be fair, it's not like the Cowboys where they shit talk every year and this year's their year and how about them boys. The Patriots are a very professionally run organization. They don't do that. They're not bloviators. They're not carnival barkers. So, can you have a little bit of sympathy for them wallowing around in the muck with everybody else, and just living like everybody else? They have 11. They average 11 points per game. I don't need to tell you that's dead ass last in the league. They average 11 points. Passing yards, they're barely above 200. They're barely above 200. That rushing attack is non-existent. The defense, it can only. I mean, what do you expect, right? You can only do so much, right? It wouldn't surprise me, if I'm Belichick, maybe I put Matthew Judon on the block. Like maybe I put some of these guys on the block and get some picks. Bottom out completely. Because you can't do worse. You can't do much worse.
Well, he says they're going to start over, whatever that means. It's not like you're going to – he said he's not benching. He's not going to bench Mac Jones, so not really starting over. Bailey Zappi's been atrocious anyway.
Right.
But they're just a bad team, right? They're a bad roster. There's literally nobody on that team to be scared of.
No.
Like if they're coming to town, it's like, whoa, what am I worried about? Kendrick Bourne?
Nope.
Worried about Lamondre Stevenson? You guys can't run the ball. You can't even run the ball.
The offensive line is atrocious. Atrocious.
But how much of this is Coach Belichick's fault as opposed to GM Belichick's fault? Because he hasn't drafted a player of consequence probably since 2014 when he drafted James White. So who does this more fall on, the coach or the GM?
70-30 GM.
Okay. So is it possible that at the end of the season he just gets fired from being the GM of the team and he just goes back to coaching? I mean, is it possible Kraft kicks him out of the building, especially if they get the number 1 pick? Like, how does this play out? It just, and I was looking at him, and he's pretty close to passing Shula on the all-time coaching list for wins. And Andy Reid's not far behind him, too. Andy Reid's probably going to pass Belichick, assuming he gets by Shula at some point, but
there needs to be a major overhaul of the coaching staff.
But this has just been self-inflicted, right? Like last year, Joe Judge and Matt Patricia were the coaches, the offensive coordinators, 2 guys that know nothing about offense.
Yes.
Trying to teach it to Mac Jones, who just got here 5 minutes ago. Is that fair to Mac Jones?
No. But
is he bad? Is Mac Jones bad? Or is he just the product of, like, what the fuck is going on here?
I think that it's absolutely the wrong place at the wrong time for Mac Jones. I think, he's a pocket passer in a league that no longer values pocket passers. He went from Josh McDaniels to Joe Judge and Matt Patricia to Bill O'Brien. It's like it's inescapable. The Tom Brady cloud is inescapable from this franchise. And it really underscores how good Brady is, right? Because he took all of these knuckleheads and he made their chicken shit into chicken salad. He did that on his own with shrewd additions by GM Bill Belichick, coached by Coach Bill Belichick. I think it's just time, man. Like, Father Time catches up with all of us. And if you're going to wait, if you're going to stubbornly hold on till you pass Don Shula, Robert Kraft isn't going to allow that. This is his baby, right? He's the owner. He's not going to let you run his business into the ground. At least you wouldn't think so. I mean, I understand Robert Kraft is a loyal guy to his guys, but I don't think he's this loyal. I don't think you can be. You know, you're not gonna let your pride get in the way of rebuilding this organization and taking you back to the top, because you're not that far removed. It's not that far away. So I still say 70-30 on GM Bill Belichick, but I think he's done, man. I think it's just time. And you know what? O'Brien's got to go. Joe Judge has to go. Matt Patricia has to go. Steve Belichick has to go. Him and his mullet. Right? You have to start over, right? Belichick said it. We're starting from scratch. We're going back to square one. The organization needs to go back to square one. They need a new voice. They need a new head. They need a new direction. I don't know who that is. But for the better part of almost 30 years, this has been it. Every dynasty comes to an end. Every empire crumbles. Like, this is historic. This is what happens. And usually, the reason why historically the empires crumble is hubris. They think they can do it at the drop of a hat. They can keep going. They can let people go. They can bring people in. They can make it all work, right? You can make deals you wouldn't necessarily make deals in the past. You wouldn't necessarily make. You do them now because I can make this happen. I can make this work. And it's just not happening. It's just not working. And it's really horrible to watch. And not just because they only scored 3 points in 2 weeks.
Want to get on the action, we want to hear from you. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG @FadeRoutePodcast. Drop us a DM on Twitter @FadeRouteDNZ. Comment on our YouTube channel, The Fade Route with DNZ. Questions, comments, picks, segment suggestions, you name it, we want to hear from you. Get at us, in crowd. Bullshit or no shit? We're going to debate this week's most controversial sports topics right now.
All right, boys and girls, we have a statement. And it's either bullshit or no shit. Here we go. Bullshit or no shit. Number one, the Cleveland Browns will hand the 49ers their first loss this weekend.
No shit. I'm all over this.
Wow.
I'm in. I believe Jim Schwartz will develop a plan to confuse Brock Purdy, to slow down that running game, to get up in the grill of the receivers. Pretty sure the game is in Cleveland. I'm going with the Browns.
I'm going bullshit. I'm going bullshit. And I think that's also giving away our picks too. But I guess we'll see, right? But no, this has nothing to do with Jim Schwartz's defense. His defense will show up. The other guys get paid to play defense too, and Deshaun Watson is going to be running for his life. Nick Bosa says hello. Greenlaw says hello. I think that it's going to be a slobber knocker, like the great Jim Ross said. And it's going to be punch, counter punch. And at the end, the Niners will barely be standing, but they'll be standing. They have enough there. Brock Purdy, he just does enough to win. And when you have a running game like they have with Christian McCaffrey, compared to the Chubless Browns, that's a factor. You know, I get Jerome Ford. I understand, like, you plug and play, but losing Nick Chubb is major. Losing Nick Chubb is absolutely major. And I think that's going to ultimately be the factor that does them in. Both defenses will come to play, but the Niners get the last laugh. Bullshit or no shit. Number two, Belichick won't make it through the season.
It's interesting. It's like, I don't know if he gets to make that call. I don't know. I mean, like, you'd say, okay, well, he's won this many championships. He's been there this long. He's earned the right to at least finish the season. But I don't. Football's not always like that. I'm curious how this is going to go. I'm going to say I'm going to say bullshit. He'll make it through the season, but at the end of the season, I think he'll either resign or be asked to step down.
Well, we already know that he's not Urban Meyer, because if it was Urban Meyer, he would have had a hard episode, one of those air quote hard episodes that Urban Meyer has when he wants to get out of a situation. But I think it's bullshit. I think he's going to last the season. I think he's going to take it on the chin. He's going to deal with what they have. He's going to try and make the best out of it. And I think at the end of the season, he and Bob Kraft are going to sit down and they're going to discuss next steps. Because I'm sure Robert Kraft has been more than frustrated for a while. Because it's very clear. It is very clear that Belichick without Brady is nowhere near as effective as Brady without Belichick.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think there's enough egg on his face that this will be the last year. I think I think Coach Belichick is a proud man. Would he want to go out this way? No. But you don't always get to go out the way you want, right? That's not how life works. Not everybody gets to retire on top like John Elway or Vince Lombardi. Sometimes you get kicked in the ass and you're forced to go. And I think this might be one of those situations where Belichick is persuaded that it's time to see himself in.
Are you in need of air care maintenance or service? I have the company for you. Air Care Technicians. They service the Westchester and Northern Bronx area and can help you with all your heating and cooling, maintenance, and service needs. Just give them a call at 914-315-1547. Again, that's 914-315-1547. Or shoot them an email at aircaretechnicians@gmail.com. These guys are the real deal, as they are veteran-owned, licensed, and insured. Make sure to tell them that D&Z sent you.
The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award. Just do better, boys. Just do better.
All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show and takes home the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week?
I don't.
Narrowly, Billy Epler.
Whoa.
Billy Epler. I was surprised. I thought it would have been Evan Neal after the hamburger and hot dog flipper comment. But apparently, people don't mind. People are more interested in the fact that Epler kept Daniel Vogelback and manipulated the IL. Okay. So each their own. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees, D?
All right. First up, I've got your boy Dylan Brooks. ejected 5 minutes into the Rockets' first preseason game. Great start to your new team, Dylan.
Adios,
Dylan
muchacho.
Brooks, do better. Just do better. You are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, George Kittle. Celebrated a touchdown on Sunday night by lifting up your shirt displaying a "Fuck the Cowboys" t-shirt. Like, really? Really? Is that necessary? Supposed to be like one of the stars in the league? Is that appropriate? Like what did the Cowboys do to you, bro? George Kittle, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And last, and certainly my favorite, Clayton Kershaw. Everyone likes to preface your name with future Hall of Famer, but your playoff woes are the only thing I can remember. In your last outing, probably the last of your career, a third of an inning, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, and a 1.62 ERA. Sounds real Hall of Fame to me. Clayton Kershaw, you're my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Z?
Kershaw's a good one. In the worst possible way. It was an absolute.
We love to crown people. We love it.
We want to crown them. Crown their ass. Well, they got crowned.
Put him right next to Randy Johnson. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh my God, that's awful. Absolutely awful. Stud, complete stud. Yeah, right. So I'm gonna start with Mario Cristobal, head coach of the U.
All right.
You have this game won. All you have to do.
He doesn't believe in it.
Does he believe in it now?
I don't know.
And they lost. Coach Mario Cristobal, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Denver Broncos talked all that shit. Actually, you know what? Forget the Denver Broncos. They didn't really do anything to Nathaniel Hackett. Sean Payton talked all that shit. All that shit.
Off-season champs.
All that shit about how Nathaniel Hackett did the worst job, the absolute dirt worst job in the history of the sport. Tell me how that loss tastes. Tell me. Because I'm sure it doesn't taste good. Jets 31, Broncos 21. Sean Payton, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And then last but not least, the American League East. All three of you. All three of those playoff teams. 0-7. A win. Not one. Not one. Not one. That's bad. And maybe the Orioles were a year too soon, but the Rays have been around for a while. And the Blue Jays, shame on you. It's absolutely ridiculous how you guys did not come to post. Yeah, the Marlins got swept, but the Marlins are a much inferior team to the Phillies. American League East playoff teams. You are my alleged superstars of the week. I think we've said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and vote. And for our nominee.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade store with DNZ.com today for all your Fade Route merch needs. I'm talking tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts, like yoga pants, we got those too. Like some cool accessories, we got those too. And we're not done yet. We have so much more planned for you, but check out what we have today at the Fade store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade store with DNZ.com. Let's run the option and give you our picks for the week.
It is the option for NFL Week 6. We are this far into the season. And if you want to play along with us on our pick segment, you know what to do. Go to our Instagram account at Fade Route Podcast. Click that link in bio and join us in our CBS Pick'em League, also entitled The Honor. Last week, the lovely Rita Sanchez kicked our asses. 10 wins on the week. Nobody else was close. She has a commanding lead in the standings. And let's see if we can catch her a little bit, or she's just gonna put us in her dust. Thursday night, the 1-4 Broncos at the 4-1 Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs.
How about them Chiefs? Broncos are open for business. Do you think this is the game that sends everybody out the door in Denver?
Possibly.
Yeah, probably.
No, I don't know. I mean, if you actually look, Russ has a pretty good passer rating, as bad as they are. He's actually having a decent year, but they're just not. The defense is god awful. So.
Yeah, well, Breece Hall made them look like Swiss cheese, so it's like they listen to us run the ball. Good job. Way to go, Hackett. Way to go. Sunday. We're back in London again. Why is this happening? The 3-2 Baltimore Ravens off us. Horrible loss to the Steelers. Take on the 2-3 Tennessee Titans.
Titans.
Really?
It's just the Ravens' offense. I don't understand what the plan is. Like, I don't get it. Like, on the goal line, Lamar just throws a terrible fade route. It's like, why are we throwing a fade route? What happened to the dynamic option plays last year? Awful.
Well, those went out the door with the previous coordinator.
Guess
so, yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens just because the Titans are that bad. So I think that, Lamar is going to have a game. Look out for Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews always seems to be the cure for what ails Lamar. So hit your tight end early, hit your tight end often, and they'll be more than okay. We're into the 1 o'clock hour already. The 2-3 Washington Commanders go into Hotlanta to take on the 3-2 Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, this was a tough one. I don't understand why the commies are playing so bad. Like, I don't understand. They got blown out by the Bears. I gotta think they rebound. We're going commies.
I'm going with the Falcons. I think that Sam Howell is proving himself to be a turnover-prone quarterback. Like, as good as his arm is, decision-making is not there yet. And Desmond Ritter's no better. But I think that Bijan Robinson is going to be the key to victory for the Falcons in this one. The 1-4 Minnesota Vikings go into Soldier Field to take on the 1-4 Chicago Bears.
I gotta think the Vikings will win this game.
Oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm taking the Bears. As brutal as they've been, Justin Fields is slinging the ball right now. I think you got to ride that hot hand. DJ Moore, it looks like they found something. I'm going to go with the Bears. Bears by 10. The 3-1 Seattle Seahawks come east to take on the 2-3 Cincinnati Bengals. Last week was enough for you. You think they've righted the ship?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. I don't know who that guy was. Played like there was nothing wrong with his leg last week. I don't know.
It was the okie doke. It's been one big okie doke. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I think it was an aberration. I need to see more from Mr. Burrow. I mean, Jamar Chase went off. Went off on his coach, demanded a trade. Next thing you know, he's, torching people left and right. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Narrowly. The 5-0 San Francisco 49ers also come east to take on the 2-2 Cleveland Browns.
Well, I kind of tipped it off early on, but I'm going with the Browns, man. Nobody's going undefeated. I got them winning there. I got them knocking off the 49ers this weekend.
Yeah, that would have been something if you went and took the freaking 49ers after the setup that you pulled. I'm going to go with the Niners. I don't think it's their time yet. I think they got at least one or two more in them before they go down. But, again, defensive struggle, barely won by the Niners. The 3-2 Saints go into Houston to take on the 2-3 Houston Texans.
Saints.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara is back, baby. Alvin Kamara is back. And it's going to be a fight. CJ Stroud's got the Texans playing. He's got them going. But I think the Kamara factor is just too strong. The 3-2 Indianapolis Colts once again under the spell of Minshew magic against Minshew's old team, the Jacksonville Jaguars at 3-2.
Jags.
I'm going Colts. The Jags have kind of been up and down this year. I think Minshew adds a different dimension to the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor's back. Zach Moss went nuts last week. Let's see if they can get Jonathan Taylor back into the fold here. If they do, Colts win pretty handily. The 0-5 Panthers at the 4-1 Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yeah. And not hard. This will not be a hard game at all. Panthers go to 0-6 and probably rethinking Bryce Young at this point. We're into the 4 o'clock hour. The 1-4 New England Patriots go into Allegiant Stadium to take on Josh McDaniels, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jacoby Myers, and the 2-3 Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders.
Patriots West. Over under 7 points for the Patriots this week.
Under.
Ooh! Yikes! The 4-1 Detroit Lions go into Raymond James Stadium to take on the 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Indomitian Super Bowl.
I gotta believe that the Bucs will win this game with an extra week to prepare, so I'm going Bucs.
This is a surprising matchup. I didn't think the Bucs were going to be this good. That being said, I think the Lions are just a little bit better. I'm going to take the Lions on the road. The 1-4 Cardinals at the 2-3 Rams.
LA.
Yeah. Stafford to Nakua, Stafford to Kupp. Like, Nakua's been so impressive. They traded Van Jefferson to the Falcons. So, yeah. Rams are going to beat that ass. The 5-0 Eagles go into MetLife to take on the 2-3 Jets. Jets.
Eagles.
Yeah. It's kind of hard not to imagine that. It's kind of hard. They did, establish the run. Breece Hall looked like a stud last week. Zach Wilson with that killer pick to Patrick Surtain, that thigh master pick. They're facing much better competition. Eagles are going to steamroll the Jets. Your Sunday night special, the 1-4 New York Football Giants go into Orchard Park to take on the 3-2 Buffalo Bills.
Bills.
See, I'm worried. Because I go back to week 1. Right? The Bills have already laid an egg like this year. Right? Prime time against the Jets. That scares me if I'm a Bills supporter. I still don't know if Daniel Jones is going to play. Not that matters for the Giants. I'm going to take the Bills narrowly, but I am very nervous that they'll play down to their competition. And your Monday night delight. The 3-2 Dallas Cowboys, fresh off of that beatdown in San Francisco, go into SoFi to take on the 2-2 Los Angeles Chargers.
Cowboys.
Interesting. It's a get-right game. I'm going with the Chargers. I think that Herbert's going to have a day, and they're going to do just enough to frustrate Dak, and he's going to throw probably 2 or 3 more picks, because that's what Dak does now. Give it a couple weeks, we'll find out that that finger he hurt is actually broken. But teams on a bye, the Packers and the Steelers, so adjust your fantasy rosters accordingly.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, turn on subscription notifications, and tell your friends. Spread the word, spread it wide.